Welcome in. It is not post-game live. It is Target Score Winnipeg. Thanks for tuning in. Crossover special. We got Matt Bonomi from Target Score Brampton joining us. That's because it was supposed to be a super crossover, but Danung Balsera just being coward, didn't want to come on with us for some reason. Chris Wiggins was like, not cool enough for me, guys. I'm out. Andrew Savory said the same thing, and we were like, you know what? We're going to keep the crossover dream alive because Brampton is in Winnipeg on Saturday, but Vancouver is in Winnipeg tomorrow. So big games for both teams, though, Matt. We'll get to that in just a second, but we are coming live right after. Definitely a candidate for most entertaining game of the year. I think it had a little bit of everything. It was a fun game. That was the Ottawa Blackjacks and Scarborough Shooting Stars in Ottawa. We even saw an in-game host get kicked out, Matt. That's how intense it got.
Yeah, I will say off the top, got some insider info here. Producer talking in my ear. It's Joey, spoiler alert. D is at home in a banana hammock like the coward he is. Just wanted to get that out of the way.
He's what's that stuff called where you the black hydro tents that you put on your legs? He's sitting there all like, and he's not even an athlete. He's just sitting there all old.
He's doing nothing, man. He strained his back today walking up the driveway. Anyway,
strained his ego.
This game, I think, might have been the most anticipated game of the season after the game the other night. Joe Rasso, Francisco Pong, and I were on the call in Scarborough. That game ended with fireworks. It was back and forth. It was crazy, and you almost had that feel that you were like, "Yeah, something's going to go down Wednesday night in the nation's capitale," and that's exactly what happened. We had, I think, 6 technicals in this game. Frank Mitchell was going around giving everybody the shoulder shrug, like he was about to go a little like Ali Tyson kind of thing. And then you had like Isaiah Moore had like 15 dunks in this game. It was just unreal. I think it was probably, again, one of the most entertaining. Like you and I have been around this league for what, like 4 or 5 years. This was probably one of the most entertaining and, again, anticipated games that I can remember in the history of our young existence in this league.
I think that from like a general fan standpoint was probably, I'm not going to go out on a huge limb here, but like I think this year probably the most anticipated game for me which is like completely out of market. Like it's in the Eastern Conference, and I was not watching because of playoff implications. I know I was watching because of their playoff implications. But it like the emotional carryover from the first game, and Ottawa just seemed to be like Scarborough's kryptonite. And had they won tonight, I think that narrative would still stand. I cannot wait. I hope this is. I honestly kind of hope it would be like a conference final, to be totally honest. Like I want it to just be for all the marbles in the conference. But if that'd be an unreal first round, the way it looks right now, that's probably what it would be. But man, if these two teams meet in the playoffs with the emotion they've already shown, I think that would be the biggest hurdle for both teams. I think the winners, whoever can keep their emotions in check, because they are just all into it, and I love to see it. Like that kind of passion and what they're putting behind this and the rivalry that's building up, like I'm here for it.
And the thing too, like the ending to this game was literally perfect. Javid Johnson hits that tough fade 3, falls into Ottawa's bench. Yeah. He's giving them the business. Then Ottawa comes out, and it's like for half a second, not CEBL Matt was like, dude, I want to see someone just like go at someone, and then Royal Rumble, and then all this stuff. And I know the league would look at that and be like, well, Matt, don't say that. But in my mind, I'm like, I want to see that. Like, I think the thing that is funny in this league is the Shooting Stars have created this like villain type role where everybody, for the most part, looks at them as a huge kind of like negative presence in the league, whether it's how good they are or kind of how they roll or how they carry themselves. And they carry themselves as pros, don't get me wrong, but they know how
There's a swagger to it, though. There's like a different swagger when they're in the gym, for sure.
That's the word I'm looking for. Like they carry this kind of like aura to them where like you either love them or you don't like them at all. And it's, you only love them if you play for them or you're a fan of them. So it's kind of like, it reminds me a lot of like, I don't know, it kind of gives me like I would go on like maybe on a limb here and say like the Lakers kind of vibe. Like you either love them or you hate them. Or like the Yankees kind of vibe, or like, I don't know, even Vancouver in the West kind of vibe. Like it seems like people either love them or they hate them. And there's no like, oh, we'll cheer for them on our off day kind of thing. Yeah. It's like, I'm either in or I'm out. And I love that about this team because every time they have their backs against the wall, they respond. And in this case, I'm thinking like Ottawa gets a full team back. They got Matthew Cleveland back in the lineup off Summer League. Harman
Powell was
suiting up
back
for
too for this one. He wasn't in that last game too, which was important.
Like, and keep in mind too, like no Cap Barber for the Shooting Stars either. I mean, and not that. I mean, I would anticipate the way the lineup's built now, he's probably it might be hard for him to crack it. But at the same time, like this team is loaded. They're insanely fun to watch. And I would, again, if we weren't closely tied to Brampton, this would be the team that I would be watching the most games of if I had to change my allegiance. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, man, you're an Eastern guy. But like Scarborough, man, I love watching this team. Everything about it's entertaining. And you never know what you're going to get.
I totally agree with you. I mean, it's so fun. They've built, I think they're like the one team that's clearly built their persona this year. Like, you know, like they accept that kind of, I think you're onto something when you say like that villainous feeling. And I think they lean into that. And, you know, I would say in the West for most of the year, it was Vancouver until it kind of boiled over in Winnipeg and, you know, just kind of fizzled away. But it did feel like there was a couple of villains and it was, you know, Vancouver and Scarborough. I don't know who fills it now. You know, whoever, if you're in the comments here, I know it's a weird live one. A lot of people will be watching this on replay, but you can throw in your ideas of who you think the villains of the West are. I mean, I am in Winnipeg, so I don't want to say it's not Winnipeg, but I don't really ever hear people hating on the Sea Bears too much. They don't have that. I don't want to say swagger because like Teddy has it, but it's not like it's like a good guy. Like it just seems like the general vibe when you're reading the comments, it's like there's like a rooting for them kind of thing. And then like legit, I'll get DMs from people where it's like, I want Scarborough to lose. And I'm like, oh man, like it's need bulletin board material, man. It's like us against the world. Like, you know, and Scarborough is like, you know, it's Toronto. Like, you know, everybody outside of Toronto doesn't want anything to do with it, right? And if for those that are, you know, from Winnipeg, know very well, it's like, you know, the Toronto, you know, I say loving hate, you know, everybody around Canada. It's not just Winnipeg. It's, you know, it's all around the West, like Edmonton, Calgary. It's just like Toronto, and they lean into that, man. I think they come in. It's like, yeah, man, the big cities here, move over, and they've got this like bad boy persona that they just, you know, they're gonna bark, they're gonna let you know, and it just makes for entertaining television, man. And you know, I'll give them that too. Even throughout this whole process, in the last 4 games now, 4 games they played against Ottawa, I'm pretty sure. Even those 2 losses, man, like they were still barking. Like there was no, you know, they were letting you know, like you might have won this score, you might have won the battle, but there's still a war out here, right? And we're going to win that. I think though with this win, I was going to say, I think it gives Ottawa a bit of an edge because they're going to have that like redemption feel going into the playoffs. But I don't know, man. I think that was a pretty like more important than win for Scarborough than we probably would give it credit for. Now that they've won, it's like, oh yeah, they won. But I think looking at that game, if they lose that and they go into a situation like Calgary's done to Vancouver and Winnipeg, and you have to play them in the playoffs, like that's a big mental edge going in. So I think this was a big win for Scarborough, like probably the closest to a playoff feel you're going to get this year.
There are a couple things too. Like one, you're bang on with that. You pured that thought. This was a huge win for Scarborough for more than just, I hate the Sea Bears play-by-play guy. The real guy. You're telling me.
What a jerk face, man.
You're telling Air India 05. I know who that is. Banana hammock, buddy.
A guy who didn't come on and found a kid-size friggin' whatever cold leg thing. I don't even know what it is. Available at Oshkosh Bagosh.
That's 50% off shoes. This win though, like for this team, like Ottawa is arguably the strongest team in the East outside of Scarborough.
Oh, dude,
a lot of people are on the high horse now with Ottawa.
You and I have been talking about this for a long time. Like, and I was same with Montreal. Like, those were 2 teams out of like both conferences where I'm like, the East is just too much. Like, even Niagara, when they were losing, like you just kind of knew Niagara wasn't going to go like whatever, like, you know, 2 or 3 win season. You knew they were going to eventually figure it out. But like everybody was kind of writing off Montreal and Ottawa. Ottawa is the better team. I think they have the best chance. Montreal, absolutely, I think, is peaked already. But Ottawa, man, like they keep coming. And I've been saying this for weeks. Like, I don't want to play Ottawa in the playoffs, man. That like out of the entire East, this includes Scarborough. I don't want to play Ottawa.
No,
it might be a hot take. I don't mean it to be, but I would rather play anybody in there except for Ottawa in this moment because they have been playing at a next level. They've had guys out of the lineup, guys stepping up when those guys are out. Like they're deeper than we give them credit for. They kind of just fly under the radar in Ottawa.
Yeah. And the other thing too for Scarborough is I hope they realize how important this role is for the league, like, and what they play in the league, because we need, like, sports is reality television. Dude, we need these guys. Like, we need these guys badly. We need a team that's going to do this stuff. Chirp, get in someone's face, but do it and still be able to win. Like, normally you get this in leagues where it's like bottom of the bucket teams and their season's over and they're just trying to cause a scrum and like rough guys up. But this is the best team in the league. And they're still doing this. Like, this is two of the best punches you can find. Quality team, and they got that kind of that ballsy kind of, I don't know. They're not playing coward ball. Like, they're out there, like they're like taking everything. And that's the thing that like is so important. Is like, I want the drama. I want the kind of flash and everybody to be looking at this and being like, oh my gosh, what just happened in Scarborough last night? Like this in-game host getting kicked out. Like, that's hilarious.
Man,
I don't even know what the heck happened there.
That's a legend story in the CVL. Like, we're gonna talk about Bobby forever. I know his name because of what happened. I didn't see the whole replay. Like, I didn't get a great angle. It's just like it comes back from the replay, and suddenly, like, there's what look first appears to be a fan, and then like as he turns around, it's just like he's got the jersey, the hat, and then it's like I'm like, that guy doesn't look like a normal fan. And then all of a sudden you see the clipboard. I'm like, oh, that's the in-game host.
Dude, it was unbelievable. Like, I couldn't believe it. And I'm thinking to myself, is that guy going to be employed tomorrow? Don't ask me. But what I will say,
who knows?
is like, it just added so much more to this rivalry. Like, dude, if you have like, whether it would be a fan or an in-game host getting kicked out, like this tells me top to bottom that everybody is getting totally involved in this kind of rivalry thing. And everybody's kind of buying into it. Like, Elias Alzine did a good job setting the table before the game, saying like two teams that basically hate each other. Yeah. Like, that's the reality of this rivalry right now. That's the reality of the East. Like, there is so much on the line. Playoff spots are getting tighter and tighter here. And again, Bobby, I don't know where he is, but that guy deserves to probably never buy a beer again in the city of Ottawa.
Honestly, with the reception that he was getting, like, I don't think he will. Like, he got the fans fired up in there, man. And like, that's the thing. Like, you want to go, if you're a Blackjacks fan or just a fan of any team in any sport, you want to go and like have an emotional attachment to your team, right? Even if that means like it's hating the other team. And I think they fed that perfectly. Like, I would be shocked if that game isn't marketed to the fullest extent, if that is a playoff matchup, to get people out here. Like, you don't need to know much to get behind your hometown team with this situation, right? And Ottawa, Toronto has its own baked in rivalries from the NHL, and it boils over, in that Battle of Ontario. But I thought it was incredibly entertaining. I love what Scarborough brings to the table. I love their persona. And I love how it gets under everybody's skin. It is exactly, what every league needs. You need those bad boys. I like you said, it's like the Lakers. They carry themselves like they're different. They carry themselves like they're better. And what, like you say, like, they win, they let you know. They lose, they let you know they're coming. Like, they're always in your ear. They're always in your face. They're always mixing it up. Like, you got to be careful again. Like, I know I said this off the top, but the emotions might be a factor where you got to say like, okay, pump the brakes. Like, we can't be getting teased, because they do take a lot of technicals. I don't have the stats behind it, but I know they take a fair share in this league. So like I think there is a little bit of, work that needs to be done. But okay, I'm also going to like pull back the curtain here and bring us into the group chat, because one of the things I said, and I think it's pretty accurate, it does feel like Terrell Vernon is the complete opposite of the persona of Scarborough basketball. He's like Ted Lasso, but he's with like a bunch of like tough dudes, and he's just like, at one point they just have a close-up camera on him. He's like, come on guys, come here. Guys, come on, guys, get over here. Like, that's kind of what it looks like. And meanwhile, they're like shoving each other, and he's like, gosh darn it, I wish they wouldn't do, like, it's just like that persona. I'm obviously exaggerating, but I just think like it's so funny because he's so calm, cool, collected. Even in his interviews, he's so well balanced. He gives, like, he's very insightful, and he's just like, like, I don't know, it's like this like politeness to him. It's just like he's very like, hey, thanks for the opportunity. This is great. Yeah, we're gonna come together here in the second half, and we're gonna fight to the end. And then all of a sudden, like, the guys come out and they're like, yeah, I know, we're gonna fight to the end. Like, dude, we better expect us, baby.
I love it. That's the weird thing with him too. Like, even doing those games in Scarborough, filling in for the great Rod Black every now and then. Like, the other day, I'm watching him, and it's like 40 minutes before tip off, and Tyrell's on the other side of the court, sitting watching warm ups in like street clothes. And I'm like, these guys are so, and like, I had people ask me, like, there was a kid sitting beside me and with a family, and they said, "Is that the head coach?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's the head coach." I'm like, "This is the culture here, man." But like, everybody loves it. Like, they've bought into this, like, relaxed, mellow, and there is something to that, right? That tells you that your team has so much faith in you, and you have so much faith in your team that there's not a sense of urgency to like, let's go, guys. Like, there's no authoritarian kind of setup here where they need to get kicked in the backside every now and then. Like, they have control over what they do. He trusts them enough. Like, his team could have gotten in 3 fights in the first half tonight. And like
Oh
you
yeah.
said, he came out for the halftime interview and was like smiling. And he's like, "Yeah, you know what? I think we need to just get a couple more defensive stops." I'm like, you need to go buy boxing gloves first, then get defensive stops. Like, that to me was like, but it says something. Like, there's no panic in these guys.
No, and the other thing too, though, is I think that's actually a great point because it's important with this team. Like with a team like this that plays with their heart on their sleeve and they're playing like up to here all the time. Like the motivation is always here. Like those are guys you can tell they're looking for that edge, right? Like it's kind of like the KG type. Like you're just making up stories in your head to get fired up, right? Like you're just looking at your defender and pretending that he went out to get you personally, and you're taking it out that way. I think you need a coach that has that balance because it can get out of control real quick, right? Because like with a team like that, you can't afford teas from the bench. You can't afford, because the players will take from the coach's energy, right? The coach is going off and the coach is losing control. It's going to spill over on the floor. And I think honestly, like he deserves a lot of credit as to why this team is as good as they are. They play with an edge. They play on the edge. And I think, sometimes they cross the edge for sure, but I think he's a guy that's able to keep them on the right side of the line more often than not. And that's what makes them a dangerous team. But again, I still think Scarborough is a team that is, can be subject to an upset in the playoffs. Like that's the one thing is things have been going really well. They've answered to this adversity really well. So it makes me feel better for them going into the playoffs. Like, because there's not a lot of meaningful games left for them. They're playing against people or teams that have meaningful games, but for them, they've had this locked up. They've got, home court advantage locked up. They're just playing out the rest of the season. And credit to them for keeping the tempo high, even though they have it all locked up. Like they're not taking their foot off the gas. But that is a team, like just looking at the East, a Niagara, like 2-time defending champions. They know you don't win a championship in July, right? It's not going to happen this week. It's going to happen in August. Yeah. Like that's when you have to be playing your best basketball. Even Brampton, like it's been a skid for the Honey Badgers. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's going to bounce back, right? Like that's like, to lose out all like that would be crazy. But, they understand too, the whole season, the good parts and the bad parts are done after August 3rd. And where you are, all you need to be is not in 5th place in either conference. And you have a lease on life, right? Like there's no buys this year. There's nothing. So it's like everybody for themselves after the season ends. So I think the path for Scarborough is tougher than people will say it is. And that is also, if they do win the East, I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk. Like I think they're going to have to earn their way to the finals. And I think the narrative will likely be that, they were just so much better. Like no one else could compete, or, the East was too easy is basically what I'm trying to say. And I don't think it is. I think Scarborough is that good. So if they have to go play any of those teams, like they can't go in expecting to win. And if they do win, I really hope people give the respect where it's due, because this is a team that is playing, at the highest level, one of the highest levels we've ever seen, right? Like we were saying earlier, we're in level with Vancouver last year, who had, 19 wins or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, this is a dominant team. Like you have to be good. It's not that the other teams are bad. This is a very, very good team.
One quick note, the great Jamie Tan just provided me with earlier tonight. 2-2 Scarborough against Ottawa this season. So they split the 4 games like we mentioned earlier. Miles Powell did not appear in both losses, both of those Scarborough losses. So he was playing in both of the wins, didn't play both of the losses. And to talk about Scarborough winning the Eastern Conference, as they already have locked up the 1 seed, I've been told by multiple people that Scarborough wants the all-time wins record. And that's fitting for this team because they want as much history within their organization as you can get, as anybody would. I mean, if it was me, I'd be doing the same thing too. 16-4 now. The record is 19 set by Vancouver last season since the expanded season to 24 games. So they have, 4 games to get 4 wins, basically. So they need to win out. And you can bet your bottom dollar, like I would go to the bank right now, take out all my money and bet it on the fact that these guys are going to run out their top roster the next 4 games because they want to get to 20 wins. Guaranteed.
I love that. Like, I love that. Like, you're finding
So do
ways
I.
to stay
I mean,
motivated, stay sharp. I love that. And, but a lot of people throw out hypotheticals, and especially being here in Winnipeg, right? People are already booking that final. I'm like, man, anything can happen in the CEBL. Like, those one games, eliminations are no joke. Both teams have to earn their way through. And it's interesting because I don't think either team has an idea yet of who that team will be. I think for Winnipeg, they don't care who they play, but I think in the inside, you're like, I'd rather not play Calgary right now, who's got all this heat beating the top teams, leading down the stretch here. So, that which leads us to our, like, why we're here. We've talked 20 minutes without even mentioning our teams, but
that's what happens when I join these things, man. I don't shut up, and then we end up on here for 7 hours.
Okay, Tyler Penner, Stat Guy Ty is calling Calgary versus Montreal final.
Whoa!
Like,
so who's getting bounced then?
That's hot.
In the East?
I would say, because, like, I want to say, like, yeah, I love that. In Montreal, I can see pulling off upsets, but I think it's more realistic that Ottawa would get in over Montreal. You got it on the record, though, Stat Guy Ty. We'll keep an eye on that, because I also joked, I'm like, could you imagine after the way the season started, if the conference final in the West ends up being Saskatoon and Calgary, the Ribeiro Bowl?
Oh my God. The Ribeiro, yeah, new trophy for that one. Oh my gosh, that would be I have no comment on that. I have no comment on that.
But looking ahead, so the Sea Bears have a big game here coming up on tomorrow. You guys do too, because you're in Saskatoon, the Brampton Honey Badgers. Not you personally, but the team that you cover. So they're there. Big game on all fronts, and it all really ties into the Sea Bears too, which is kind of nice for us, like our viewers, because they have Vancouver, who they're a game up on right now. If they win tomorrow, they essentially would almost guarantee they win the tiebreaker too, because they have one more game left in Vancouver to finish off the season. But you would be 2 games ahead. And if there were a way that, it became a tie in some way, like they won by 33 points. So I think tomorrow you're going to see a bit of a desperate Vancouver to stay in the race. But Winnipeg is riding a major high. I don't know if you heard about this, but there's this gentleman named Teddy Allen, goes by the name of Buckets.
No,
and he threw 54 points worth of basketballs into a cylinder through twine the other nights. And there's this new player that joined the team. His name is Zav. Is it Zav?
Zav Trudeau?
No. Close though.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Ottawa.
Xavier Moon. Xavier Moon's his name. Who came off this weird, I don't know what you'd call it. We'll call it a hurdle, but to get clearance from his team in Russia to play. What a debut he had too. Totally overshadowed by Teddy Buckets getting the first ever 50-point game in CBL history, but for 17 points, 14 assists, 10 of those assists in the second half. I think he only had 3 points in the second half too. Like, that's when the Teddy show took over. But just a phenomenal game from him, and it elevated the Sea Bears like crazy. Like, you could just see, that level he's playing at as a point guard. He's come as advertised. Like, I got just as many messages about Xavier Moon, and kind of like oh yeah, and crazy that Teddy got 54 points, but like, wow, I was really impressed by that Xavier Moon. And I think tomorrow's test is the big one, because it did feel like Montreal ran out of gas. They were a very depleted roster. And by the end, like, even Teddy, I was talking to him today at practice, and he was saying like, like, it was kind of over for them. And that's where I felt like I might be able to push this to 50, right? And if you look at, I rewatched the game earlier today, and there's a few cuts where there's not a lot of help or urgency defensively for Montreal. We'll put it that way. But that's not to take away what Teddy accomplished. Like, he's like 54 points has never been done before, and I'm not sure when we'll see it again. But this game against Vancouver is going to be a much bigger test for the Sea Bears, and I think this will be a bit more adversity for this team, because Vancouver's coming back. Last time they were here, their head coach got suspended for 3 games and then never came back onto the bench. Now he's the GM, working, I think, out of China as well as maybe Vancouver. I don't know, but he's the GM of the Bandits, signed a contract in China, so he's out there with his new team. But yeah, this is a team, though, that has redemption on their minds, because there's enough players on that roster that are still there for this one.
There are a couple things with this Winnipeg team, and D and I talked about it today or the other day when we filmed Target Score Brampton. Dude, number one, Winnipeg scores basketball at an insane rate. Every time I watch those games, I'm like, oh, every time I tune in, I flip off for something else, and then I flip back and they're scoring. And then I flip away and they're scoring another bucket. I'm like, what is going on? This is the first time in a long time that I can remember that they have the best plus minus in the Western Conference, meaning someone else has a better plus minus points wise than Vancouver. Like Vancouver's always a team that has 150 plus points like in their hand. Winnipeg 188 points, plus 188. Vancouver 71. So that to me right there is like, I know people are like, oh, bad game here and there, whatever. Dude, Vancouver's a powerhouse. Like that is not something like to crank 110 points or whatever that was, 120 points over Vancouver, I think is crazy. And people may look at that and be like, stat nerd, and I'm sitting here but like that says
you can't say that when Stat Guy Ty's comment has just been brought up to the screen.
Winnipeg and tie for lead.
You said stat nerd. Yeah, Stat Guy Ty will have something to say about that. No negative connotations, guy.
Thanks, Ty. Thanks, Stat Guy Ty. Second, this like Teddy Buckets game, 54 PTS, and this season as a whole puts the whole thing to bed for me about people saying Teddy loses you games more than he wins you games. I see that in the comments all the time. I see it on Reddit. I see it on Instagram. And I'm thinking to myself, are you guys like nuts? Like this team is the best team in the West. You have a guy that's going to win MVP for sure. Like I again would take that same money that I took out of my bank account 20 minutes ago. I would take it out again and put it on Teddy to win MVP. And I just don't know. Like I hope this is not like the LeBron James thing where everybody's like, Jordan was better. I hate LeBron. I want LeBron out of the league. And then when you realize they're gone, it's like, oh my God, we had that for a minute and we didn't like appreciate it. This is like, again, this is why like I always tell people tune into Winnipeg games because you don't know what you're missing. Like this is a crazy talented guy that has been able to kind of bring all that emotion that he's had in the past season, a couple seasons, into kind of be able to like to balance it and understand what his role is and take over and do it with like a calm kind of demeanor. And that's what's allowed this win. Like that's the difference for me. Like Teddy going crazy and not being able to control that stuff. This is a second place team.
Yeah.
In the West. Now it's like, okay, now you have that kind of wild card. And the best part is you didn't need to add guys. Like you still have Xavier Moon, who you've had in the past. You have Teddy back, who you've had in the past. But it's how they utilize these guys. And that last game the other day, although would they score like 109 points, I think?
I think it was 109 to 80 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like 109 to 80. Like if that's your first game using two guys that you could rely on offense and they click that well, like even you were saying, Joey, like Xavier Moon wanted to play with Teddy. Like that was one of the things where it was like, yeah, like I want this guy on my team. Do you know how many guys in the past would say, don't want to play with that guy?
Yeah.
And now it's like, everybody and their brothers now saying like, oh, maybe we had this wrong the whole time. Maybe he actually is the guy. And here they are first in the West. Like Teddy Buckets, there's a reason why he's got the nickname Buckets. And he has lived up to the total potential this year.
Well, and the other thing too with Teddy is like, the whole team feels this way, right? Like everybody was like buzzing about that game. Like there's no one that's like, oh, ball hog or whatever. Though it was funny, Xavier Moon, and I'll play this clip tomorrow on the pregame show on Game Day Live. But he says something along the lines of, he's like, I didn't like all the shots, but hey, they're going in. I'd rather be on his side when they are, kind of thing, right? So he's like it's getting used to, because there are, he will pop up shots, and if he's feeling it, it's going up. Like he doesn't give it much thought, because he hits it so well. Like I want to bring this one back up before I lose it here. This is from the Leicester Vintage Toy Shop. Yes. So, okay. Cool story about this in a second. But he's saying it's the scoring efficiency that was so impressive as well. Hardly any free throws. Teddy only had 3 free throws.
I said that today with D. When D and I were doing the podcast, I said the crazy thing is, like, I think I said this in our group chat too. Same thing. I'm like, how does somebody drop 54 points and only have 4 attempts at the line? Like I think of like Bam Adebayo dropping 83 or whatever he dropped, and he had like 40 free throws or whatever the heck it was. Like in today's game of basketball, it is so easy to collect points at the line that this makes this feat like twice as impressive. The fact that you didn't rely on anything from the line.
It's the thing that like shocked me with it too, is there's no foul shots. He missed one. He had a few missed field goals that were like usually like easy Teddy shots too. Like it sucks. I'm like, it's 54 points. And there's part of me like, man, like couple bounces, he could have got to 60. You know,
100%.
like, and like my money is on if this record is to be broken, it's going to be Teddy Allen that breaks it himself. Like
exactly
if he
what we
goes on
said
a
too.
heater like that again,
Yeah.
like it's absolutely crazy. But then you throw in the other aspect of this, because I know there's some people, and if you're tuning into the show and you're, you know, new to the CBL or you predominantly watch NBA basketball, you're thinking, well, like it happens not all the time, but like it's not like a foreign thing for a guy to go off for 50 in the NBA, which I would say, like, yes, but it's also super rare. The other thing is, those are 12-minute quarters, 4 full 12-minute quarters. The CBL is 3 10-minute quarters, and whatever the time ends up being in the fourth quarter, and Stat Guy Ty will certainly correct me here if I'm wrong, but it was like between 6 and 7 minutes of target score time was how long that target score period was, right? And you only get a cap of 9 possessions, and you have a media timeout before you go, like before you go into target time, because there's that whistle and then there's the break. Like if Teddy's on that heater in the fourth quarter and like the time doesn't roll and he still has another full, because I think it was like 3 minutes and 40 seconds when the clock went, and he just has an unlimited amount of possessions essentially for the rest of that time, like it could have been bad. And that's the other thing too. Like Isaiah Osborne hit the game winner. It was the only field goal he had. But could you imagine if he went off, like because they were looking for Teddy, and Teddy had a chance to get 57 points. Like he had one more 3-pointer like available on the score before the target was hit. So like this could have been even crazier, but it's crazy as it is. You know, you watch Xavier Moon. Here's another one here from our boy. I believe this is Joe. Also, you get to watch Xavier Moon. He's so smooth. I'm all in on Deadpool and Wolverine. And I don't know if you saw that, the post-game interviews after the game, Teddy said, we're only going to be addressed as Deadpool and Wolverine from now on. So, and I thought it was such a perfect persona, like, you know, that kind of like Teddy being the misunderstood guy. You know, the only other guy that's come close to walking any kind of miles in the same shoes is Xavier Moon, in terms of having that pressure, being the guy, you know, and being overlooked and trying to get through, you know, making a name for yourself in this league. I think it's a great nickname, better than Batman and Robin. Further to that, if you look at the MVPs, it looks like, you know, Teddy's, I think, the front runner. I don't want to go out and say it because I am a Winnipeg.
I'll say it.
Reporter,
I think he's done. I think it's done. I would say Teddy wins it hands down. But anyway, you didn't say that. I said it. It's
going to be a very hard argument against Teddy at this point. So let's assume he wins. This will be the 8th season of the CEBL. Between them, they'll have had 5 of the MVPs, 3 for Moon, 2 for Teddy. So like you're legit seeing 2 of the best. And to your point, you were saying earlier, like before it goes, I'm curious if Teddy is playing out of the league, in the sense that like at some point the NBA, or at least there's going to be an offer from Europe that's just too good to pass up, where he's going to be like, you know what, I'm making good money here. Like I just can't risk it anymore in the CBL, right? Maybe I'll come back like a Xavier Moon after a few years. I'll come back, like, you know, if I still want to compete in that or still want to play in the summer. But like, and further to that thought, Xavier and Teddy together, like, I don't know. Like, I hope this lasts, you know, for another year or two, but like, it's a CEBL. You just don't know. We may get, it might be such a concentrated sample size of among the best basketball we'll see in this league. And I agree with you. Like I, if they were on, you know, Brampton or Calgary or anywhere, like this would be a duo that I would want to watch night in and night out. And there are a few in the league that I like watching. And this would be among the top.
For the record, Teddy Allen won MVP back in 2023, as you mentioned, with the Winnipeg Sea Bears. His numbers this year, he had 21 games played total that season in 2023. He's played 20 so far. His numbers are better in almost every category, matched or better. He's got nothing that's worse. Yeah. And like that 2023 season, to me, I think a lot of people voted and were like, yeah, this is Teddy. So this year, like even, and again, we were talking about this earlier today, like D and I, again, I hate to mention D because I know he's getting free publicity
he's just
here,
sitting
but
there getting like positive
doing whatever
like,
he wants.
D, you're on your phone, like you have the link. You could just come on.
He's probably
like,
watching another movie or something.
Yeah, we're here for you, bro. We're here for you. Like, come on, give us some takes, man. Give us some takes. Don't be a coward, as he likes to say.
But I said to D, I was like, man, the crazy thing is like he's going to surpass his season totals from before with ease.
Yep.
And the other thing too is like the voting for this MVP award. For those that don't know, is it's league run. Like media members get votes. So it's similar to the NBA kind of thing or MLB with Hall of Fame voting, that kind of stuff. People will look at this and say, well, a 54-point game, like people that don't watch Winnipeg, and there are people don't watch every organization in the league or every franchise in the league. But like if I was somebody who didn't watch Winnipeg and I saw somebody with a 54-point game, my first thought would be, okay, that guy is 100% the MVP. And you can't just base it off one game. But then I would see that, and then I'd dig a little deeper and see like, oh, he averaged 30 points per game. Okay, that's clearly the MVP. Like there are people that will vote surface level for him, and there are people that will vote who genuinely watch the team and know him well enough to the point where it's like this is a no, like there's no chance. There's no chance that he's going to lose this. And I'm like so confident in that. His only competition in my mind is Miles Powell, and Powell has 4 games to drop like 40 a game in order to even bump him up above the points per game category. Maybe like it's just tough to like Teddy all around has done everything so well this season that it's a no brainer to me. And again, the guy's only 28 years old. Like that's the crazy thing to me too. I don't know why every time I watch these guys play, I'm like, Teddy's probably like 35 and like almost done with basketball. I'm like, this guy's just hitting prime.
Yeah, dude. The other thing with the whole Teddy MVP thing, and you were saying this earlier because I wanted to get back to this before I forget, is you're talking about him playing offense and his scoring and how like the winning games, losing games, like further to that. And I've said this, like I was on this in 2023 on the podcast. Like I don't think he gets proper credit at all for the other areas of the game. Like, yes, he's more complete, and everybody will say that this year. Like the people that watch the Sea Bears a lot, he is more complete. He plays really good under Mike Rainbow. Mike Rainbow is communicating with him. They are good for each other. I think there's a lot of validation for the first-year coach because Teddy is buying in. But he has always been an elite rebounder. He disrupts particularly at the perimeter on defense. Like this guy was leading in steals for a good part of the season, and he's been at least like top 2 for most of it, and he has to be in the top 5. I haven't checked, but he's one of the top steal getters in the league, and he turns it into points the other way. This is a complete player, and you ask anybody who's played with him or against him that have played in the NBA or played against guys that ended up in the NBA, and they're like, he is one of the best scorers I've ever seen. It is Teddy buckets for a reason. Like this is not a CBL thing, or like the league has only gotten better since the last time he won his MVP, and he's still getting better. It's like Xavier Moon said, everybody's telling me the league's getting better. It is a lot better. I want to prove that I can still be a big name in this league. And that's what Teddy's doing right now. And he's not once talked about the MVP or personal accolades. Like he's carrying himself differently. Like the swagger is now a motivator, not necessarily an arrogance, right? Like, I think he's just in the right place in a lot of ways in terms of like where his career is going and like the opportunities and, like a level of gratefulness almost, right? That like he's experiencing this, but he's still business. Like he's got his goals. He's still like, knows the grind. And one of the things he said earlier in the season when the MVP talk was heating up, it's not his decision. So what can I do? All I could do is go out and ball and try and win a championship, right? And this is a team that hasn't won a playoff game yet. So, there's a lot left to do for the Sea Bears here as we go in the playoffs. But, people that want to put them on the championship thing so far, you got to wait. They got to win that first game before they can really start thinking about championship. And this is the team to do it. The Mike Rainbow approach is just so much different from the Mike Taylor approach. I remember Mike Taylor, it was a guy that was trying to be prepared for everything. Like, he had a play in the book for any situation. Like he wanted to be prepared for anything, where I think with Mike Rainbow, it's possession by possession. Like, it's not that we're preparing for everything. It's just that we got to be very focused on every possession. And they've lost enough games that were 1 possession differentials to know that every possession really does count. I think this team is starting to peak at the right time. I think the boost that Xavier Moon gives is great because they weren't playing terrible, but you were starting to feel like, okay, Teddy's getting a little tired, a little worn out with those 2 games with less than 20 points, and he's admitted that. And now you get that. It's like a release valve of pressure. Now, like he commands so much gravity. Like I love when Teddy uses that word. Xavier Moon also has that gravity. And the way he can pass, man, like I should have cut it. I'll have it for my pregame show tomorrow, but there's like one play where he just kind of takes a small dribble in towards the elbow and a quick step out, but it's enough to draw one defender a half foot over, and there's a space like perfect right here for the ball to get through as Tillman slips the screen and takes it to the hole. And I was just like, that is such an elite pass. Like, it's not flashy. There's nothing about it where you're like, oh, highlight reel, but it's like, he knew how to get that defender just out of position enough that it opened the entire middle for Jeremiah Tillman Jr., who already has a ridiculous field goal percentage in this league with no contest on the shot. Like, it was phenomenal. Like, it was so good to watch. I think it's only going to get better as they get stronger, but I think the competition is going to get a little bit stiffer. Okay, before I let you go on, Matt, I just want to bring this up because this is a really cool story. You'll hear about it definitely on the national game on Saturday. So this is Joe. Joe, appreciate you, man, tuning in. It's great to see you. So they're out of Leicester. They know Teddy from his time playing for the Leicester Riders in the then British Basketball League. And because I think the name has changed. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, he played there. He's connected with his family. They've flown all the way to Winnipeg to watch the Sea Bears live for 3 games, and Teddy Allen, their favorite player. And I heard there was a pregame meal that he liked in England. I think he was living with them, and he might have had it the night before his 54 points. So don't want to deliver the secret yet, but there's a secret recipe apparently for Teddy Allen to go off for 50s. So yeah, they've been here for a while. So always appreciate your support, Joe. I know you've been on here since at least season 2 when Teddy got back from London or from England. So really happy you're here, and it was great to finally meet you in person. But for all of us out here, all of the other podcast fans, I know can't do it if you're watching in replay, but hats off. Little clap for Joe, our biggest international supporter for sure. So, Joe, thanks for coming in on the live show, man. Means a lot because I don't know, like, what is this your time? Like 3 a.m.,
3:57 in the morning.
Yeah, so
3:57 in the morning.
The jet lag's worn off though. Now he's a Winnipegger. He's had his honey dill sauce. Gonna get him a Fat Boy burger, and he's just gonna be all about Winnipeg all the time. Because as I say, Matt, Winnipeg's got a killer food scene. You Winnipeg haters,
no comment.
Yeah, come
no
out
comment.
here,
Again,
yourself,
Toronto.
Guy.
That's the thing. Toronto, we don't think anything. Nobody thinks anything.
Ooh, it's fueling the fight. You're trying to start this Brampton.
I'm gonna Frank Mitchell,
rivalry.
man. I'm gonna get my Frank Mitchell on here. That is really cool though.
But let's go. Really cool. Let's flip now to Brampton. I mean, this is you can give us the insider here that we don't get to see. A lot of our viewers don't watch a ton of Brampton basketball. This is a team that started incredibly hot and then cooled right off. Like a Great Lake was poured on that hot streak.
Yeah, we us folk in Brampton, we started 7-1, which was crazy because I think last year we had like maybe 9 wins. And it was insane for us to be like, okay, 7 wins. What do we do with all these wins? How do we get them? And then everything kind of went downhill. I mean, obviously, one of the things for the Canadian Elite Basketball League, or one of the disadvantages, I should say, of the Canadian Elite Basketball League is the fact that you lose your best players to Summer League. And obviously, the opportunity is there for them to go work out with NBA teams, maybe crack a Summer League roster. You miss 5 games in the CEBL, that kind of thing, or 5 or so games or whatever it may be. And that happens. I mean, the teams will tell you right away that they want those players to go and get those opportunities. CEO of the team, Al Whitley in Brampton, who's done an exceptional job building the team, said the same thing. Like, we want them to be able to build. But then they fell apart, and they're 2-9 in their last 11 games. They lost Sean East to, I think it was, Cleveland Cavaliers. Cam Tyson was gone to the Golden State Warriors. Cam Tyson, who is now the single season record holder for regular season and postseason in 3-point makes this season. I think 77 is what he's at. So, I mean, you're losing big guys, and you're losing Sean East, who's your floor general. You guys out west would know him, obviously, from last year in Edmonton with the Keon Ambrose Hilton, both now in Brampton, not Hamilton, stat guy Ty. I say that all the time, too. Could be opportunity for some cool retro gear. Anyway, but losing those 2 guys was a big thing, and that really kind of sucked for us. And that's when you started to see guys go in and out, and the Alex Serta, the head coach, did a great job of kind of shuffling the deck there, and they lost a couple of really crappy games. Don't get me wrong. There were games where you'd look at it and you'd be like, again, no offense to a Montreal team, but it was like, man, you have to beat these basement teams in the East. Niagara, before they kind of caught fire there, it was like, you have to beat these teams, and they didn't do that. And I mean, the crazy thing is I look at this standings graphic, they're still second in the East. Like they could easily be, and I hate to say it, they could easily be fifth in the East right now.
Yeah.
And it's not because of roster compilation. It's just because the way they've kind of been playing. Like they're searching for their identity without Sean. And luckily now Sean, I believe, is back. I think
this is huge.
I think the hope is that he's going to play tomorrow. That's what we've been told. So there was some worry. So like the last couple games they've played, they've lost 2 in a row. They just dropped a home and home with Niagara. But in that second game of the home and home, Trenton Flowers was a guy they picked up, 21-year-old out of Maryland. Unbelievable. He's a showstopper. Played in the NBA. He's like best buddies with Chris Paul, Kawhi Leonard. Like he knows all these guys. He's had offers to go play places, but he was on his couch for the last 6 months. D had a really good post-game interview with him. He dealt with injury. He came back. He said, this is where I'm finally comfortable playing, so I want to play. Well, he comes back. Well, then be damned in that Niagara game if he doesn't go down. I think it was the fourth quarter maybe, and he's slapping the ground and it looked bad. He had to get helped off the court. And here we are saying on the podcast the other day, he's probably done for the year. I mean, people that I talked to also said the same thing. Again, not team people, but people outside of the team that were saying, man, that's like definitely some sort of lower body injury that's serious, obviously. And his recovery time will be far too long to be able to make it back for the season or the last couple games of the season here. And then playoffs. I mean, playoffs 2 weeks away. So August 6th, I think, is the first date. So people kind of waved that off. Well, then today, I get a message from a couple of people. I get a couple of messages saying there is potential that he might be back and that he was practicing. They posted a photo on Instagram today of him practicing. And I'm thinking to myself,
wild.
What like Jordan juice did this guy just take? But the whole thing was like the whole season we heard, just wait until we have the roster we want. And now they finally have it. Tevian Jones. Like that was a big pickup too. They're going to hopefully have him suit up. So we get a former Winnipeg guy. We get Flowers, who could arguably be, if he plays a full season, I think one of the top MVP candidates. And you get Sean East, who finished second, I believe, in MVP voting last year. So to get these 3 guys potentially all in one, at least East and Jones for now, the final hope is we've been waiting to turn that corner. And now I think getting these guys back for this last 5-game stretch here, which is a tough one. I mean, you go on the road for 2, then you come back and you get Scarborough for 2 of 3. That's not easy, but I think the idea is that now they finally have their pieces together. And you said it perfectly, Joey. Like you don't win a championship in July, right? They're primed and they're ready to kind of get going now, and they're lucky enough to still be able to be in second place in the East.
I didn't have it lined up, but our boy Smirkio, if you've been on the Winnipeg podcast live, Smirkio is usually clearly not here because he'd be all over the comments if you were watching this live. But he sent some pictures over that I gotta make sure he's cool with it. But I want to pull him over. He had some funny graphics that he made up for these guys. But I want to bring this up because this is what I'm getting at. Thanks, Stat Guy Ty. Tevian Jones has played for half the league and one team twice. So he's technically played for 6 teams in his time here. And it's so funny because he's like, I don't even think there's that personal edge with him anymore because he's played for 3 different teams since he last played in Winnipeg. So I think that's, mostly water under the bridge. But no, it's the thing with Tevian is he's an elite second or third option, and when the ball's moving around. So, Brampton can get some ball movement, get him on the run, get him open down a wing. Like he can finish around the rim like nobody else. He's got that length. He's got that finesse too. But when he starts making his own shots, that's when you see like his 3-point percentage is not great. His field goal percentage will dip because, once he gets into that moment where I need to take the game over, it doesn't always go his way. And that's the part where I think, gets frustrating at times when the role diminishes. So, if he buys into the role, like I said, man, like, because what's the record now for Brampton? 9-9?
They are 9-10.
9-10. So now they're under 500 after starting. Was it 7-0?
7-1.
7-1 they started.
6-0, I think, and then they went 6-1 and 7-1, I think.
Okay.
Was the most wins they
right.
had. Yeah.
I think that sounds right. So 7-1 start, and then you have this, downfall. It's all over once you make the playoffs, right? And if you've got that firepower, like, great. We got all of our losses out in July. Like, perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think Brampton's one of those teams, like we keep saying here, like, in terms of like the media people I talk to in Winnipeg, like, like, I don't think anybody wants to play Calgary or Ottawa right now. Like, if I were to pick a team in each place, like Calgary might not make the playoffs, but if they do, man, like they're playing with house money. This was a season that was washed weeks ago. And then Dave DeViro, like, credit to Dave DeViro, man. Like, and this is no offense to Perry Wong. I've heard players from Calgary straight up tell me, like, that was unfortunate. They didn't think that was on him, and that he didn't deserve to get fired. But Dave DeViro comes in, is given essentially like a whole new roster, gets 3 practices, and then these guys are rolling. Like they've won what, 4 of their last 5 or 5 of the last
5
6
of their
now?
last 6. Yeah, 5 of the last 6. Yeah.
And those wins are against 3 of them are against Vancouver, who is trying to fight, like now, like fighting for that home playoff spot where it looked like it was a sure thing, like not that long ago. They beat Winnipeg twice. The big one that might come to haunt them is that loss to Saskatoon.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they beat Saskatoon in that game and they've won 6 in a row, like 5 of 6, I'm still like, I'm not ready to take these guys out of the equation. If they're 6 though, I'm like, look out. Like if they win 6 straight games, like that's what Edmonton did last year to get in the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. They weren't able to do anything once they got in, but I think it was a little bit more pressure on Edmonton because they've been a team that's so good for so long. It's the way that this Calgary season started. They had double-digit losses before they got a win. And then they made these minor adjustments. You bring in an Armani Chaney, who was great here. Again, his role was getting diminished. He knew what was coming. They came to a mutual agreement. He left. He found a great opportunity in Calgary where he's their lead point guard and an integral part of their system. And he's thriving, right? I mean, this is a team that if I meet them in the playoffs in a 1-game scenario, if it's a best of 3, I'm not worried. In a one-off, I am worried because they know their season was supposed to be over in like beginning of July, end of June. If they're playing in August, man, whenever their season ends, it's already way further than it ever should have been. So if they get enough wins, there's no pressure on Calgary, and I think that's what makes them a dangerous team. This is why they're playing so well. They're playing so loose, and they're just believing in the system because now they're like, I think they bought in, even if we don't win any more games, I'm playing for my tape. I'm playing for my opportunity, right? Like, and the other thing is, they're not carrying the load of that first half of the season, Matt, right? Like most of those guys weren't there. So it's like, yeah, they were 0-10. And that was kind of the conversation I had with Armani Chaney. He's like, they were 0-10. I'm like, whatever, like whatever the record is now, like I'm that, right? So it's like, these guys are kind of looking at it as like a second half of the season, which is really theirs. Like even Ruggsy wasn't there for the whole thing. They have 1 player on that team that's been there from the start. So like, this is a team that doesn't feel the ownership of that loss. So it's not carrying like another, like an NBA team, let's say, like where the rosters are pretty much the same. Like it's a lot harder to carry that. This one's like, hey man, best case scenario, we make the playoffs, win a championship, and we look like the craziest heroes of all time with the craziest comeback, right? Worst case scenario, like it was stacked against us, and we made it fun. We made it entertaining while it lasted. But if I'm Edmonton, I'm sweating, man. Like Edmonton lost a big one last night to Saskatoon, and that's why for your game, and we can talk a little bit about this, the game leading up to that Sunday game, or the Saturday game rather, for between Brampton and Winnipeg. But this is a big, like, you guys are not getting any kind of rollover in the West either. Like, Saskatoon's thinking, man, like, we can finish top 3 right now. Like, we can finish in a great position. And, like I say, play a more depleted Vancouver in that first round as opposed to having to come to Winnipeg. Like, this is a team playing for something. And with that, they still have to make sure that Calgary and Edmonton are at arm's length.
Yeah, and crazy enough, Calgary has done this without Evan Gilliard, too, who is kind of MIA right now. Obviously, I mean, if you follow the CEBL, there's been a little back and forth between him and the team and trying to sort that stuff out. And I mean, it sucks because you and I, as fans of the league, we want to watch that guy. I think anybody who has seen him play wants to watch him, but they've had to pivot to other guys. And that's the crazy thing. Like 99% of the time when you pivot to other players mid-season, when you start the season on the biggest mudslide ever, you're going to just continue to go down that slide. Well, they've spun it around, but you bring up an interesting point about Edmonton, Joey. Like, I have never doubted Jordan Baker in my time. Obviously, he was an unreal player in the league. He's done a great job at coaching. But to me, even though they're 2 games up on Calgary for that 4th spot and last playoff spot, I just look at Edmonton as the odd team out. I don't see them kind of being a powerhouse team. Like, and part of me would rather see this Calgary team kind of catch so much steam here at the end and roll right into the playoffs and upset somebody. Something like that. Like you said, I don't want to play that team in the playoffs. Like, I would much rather play Edmonton than Calgary in the playoffs, and Edmonton for some people is the better seeded team, or so they must be better. Well, no, I don't think so. I mean, we watch enough of these games where it's like, okay, Edmonton is 8-12, so they're not good record wise, but Calgary just seems to play with so much more passion and kind of juice right now. And I don't know why. I think you kind of hit it on the head there too. Like they're playing with house money. They have nothing to lose. Like again, they watched this season and it's like, yeah, forget about it. We're gonna get back to the drawing board. Like this is almost like a test it year for double D Dave there. Like he can just he can go on, do whatever he wants kind of thing. And no matter what, it's like, yeah, we know like next year we'll have a chance at it if he gets brought back as head coach to kind of run with it. And I don't know. It's something about Edmonton that is just not intimidating to me. Again, I root for them because I love Jordan Baker, but something about Calgary just scares me so much more than it does. It's kind of like it's opposite in the East though too. Like I again looking at the stats here, I am not afraid of Montreal. Like I am more afraid of Ottawa and Niagara than I am Brampton. So there's your teams from below that I'd be more afraid of than a team that's higher seed. Like nothing against Brampton, but we just haven't seen that yet. Like we haven't seen that full roster where we know in the CAA Center they can beat a team with the 5 best players that they've been talking about the whole season. And we'll get a chance with that on the road, but Saskatoon's not going to roll over. Like Saskatoon has a ton to play for here with Edmonton on their tails. And then Winnipeg, like that will be the biggest test. And this is the thing that I think is interesting about that game to jump a day ahead here Saturday. You're going to be on the call with, who is it? Arash and
I think it's Javon. I'm not even sure. We got a call on Friday because I thought it was Joe Razzo. I thought I saw his name on the call, but I think it's Javon Shepard this time.
But that game is going to be a huge test for Brampton in the sense that one, it's the first time they've had this whole roster together. 2, you're playing in an arena where there are going to be 6,000 to 7,000 people. 3, you're on national television. And we've seen nationally televised games in this league go sideways before. We've seen guys try
Calgary,
to play
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, legit. So at this
Calgary
point,
turned their season around on national TV. Like when they won that game in Winnipeg, that's when people were like, oh, wait. Calgary might actually still be in the race. Like, so this could be that game for Brampton.
And what did Wiggins tweet too? Calgary was 2-0 on those. Yeah, 2-0 on those nationally televised games against Vancouver, right?
Yeah. One against Vancouver and then one against Winnipeg. Basically, 2-0 in national TV.
Oh my God, I'd be going. If I was Ribeiro, I'd be asking everyone and their brother to put me on TV every week. Sign the deal, Jason. But it just seems like, and this is the best part about this league, the fact that the standings lie. The standings are never true. And this is the other Eastern Conference tidbit that I kind of think about. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Vancouver the last couple of years hasn't faced any adversity. This year,
did you not watch the West Final last year?
Well, that I did watch, and I closed my eyes because it was a dream. No comment.
I didn't because things were flying at me left, right, and center.
Yeah. I do think I have my thoughts about that game, which I won't get into. As I believe Kyle Julius said, former head coach of the Bandits, said on Target Score Vancouver that he said people at TSN had their thoughts of how the game ended, and so did we, and it was different. But I get it. I totally get that. I mean, I'd be in the same position. If I was in the same position, I'd be freaking out too. I'd want my guys to win, and I think again the call was one of these coin flips, but whatever. That, with the exception of that, and then Kyle leaving the team because of the instance that happened this year. This team has been the king team in the West. So for once now, they kind of face this adversity where it's like, okay, well, maybe we finally can't get by a team. Maybe we finally can't get by Winnipeg during the regular season. That, to me, almost puts you in a better position come postseason, as weird as that may sound, because as the old adage goes, and again, I guess this isn't really true for the East, but because Niagara's won the East the last 3 years and won the whole thing, but I just think like having the best record and having the best setup doesn't do you any good, as crazy as that may sound. And that may be the dumbest comment that ever happens on a Target Score podcast live video at 11:14 Eastern Standard Time. But I just don't think, like, I think Vancouver kind of loves the position they're in because they're going to get into the playoffs. They would face no 3 at that point. It just pressure. Seems like, yeah, like it's like, oh, okay, well, it's Winnipeg's turn to win it all. Well, they've never won a playoff game. So go ahead, eat your heart out. You can play the 4 team. And if it ends up being Calgary, then it's like, cool, I'd rather play Saskatoon than Calgary.
Well, and I will say to your point, sorry to cut you off, but like Kyle Julius said that, like, you know, in as many words. When last time they were in Winnipeg before the game, he said, I've been on teams that have been like close to undefeated in the regular season and still lost when it mattered. So he's like, we're really not worried about the record in the regular season. We just want to be our best versions of ourselves, when we get into that last week of the season into the playoffs, and this is where we are.
Mm-hmm. And that's the crazy thing. Like, to me, Vancouver is almost sneaky right now, even though, again, people will say, well, they're the best team in the league no matter what, this and that. Like, I don't think they are, but I do think they sit kind of in that Brampton kind of area, even though their records are vastly different. Like, Vancouver's +4, or four wins greater than losses. Brampton's under 500, but I would say the same for Scarborough. Like, Scarborough is a talented team. At the beginning of the season, we talked about, like, you and I even talked about, like, Scarborough and Winnipeg. That would be, like you said earlier, people are shipping that finals.
Popcorn,
already.
baby.
Like, that is, like, I would want to watch that. Like, I would watch that yesterday. I would watch that 7 days a week if someone said you could do. I would petition to the league, make this a 7-game series, cancel everything in these arenas, and just let them go. People will watch that. That's cinema. But part of it to me also is Scarborough wins the East. Everybody's feeling good. And then what happens? They make the playoffs, and then you have a tough team in either Ottawa or Niagara or even Brampton if they slip. Like, there's no easy route for them in this. And that's, I think, what kind of, like it just kind of worries me about Winnipeg. I don't know. Like, I just feel like the second place team might have a better role here, as crazy as that may sound, because the teams that are going to get these 4 spots are going to be firing off of some crazy streak, as we've seen. And that's the perfect time to kind of do it right now in the season.
Well, the motivation for Winnipeg is finish top of the West, because I think this team realizes that they need to play at home. Like, home advantage isn't like, oh, it'd be nice to have it. Like, Winnipeg almost needs it. They have not been the same team on the road. Like, I'll share this again to bring up the standings. But you look at Winnipeg, they are 5 and they have a losing record on the road.
Yeah.
They're 8-1 at home, right? So Winnipeg, I think, is, as much as like I don't disagree with what you're saying, it would be a lot more pressure on Winnipeg if they are not that top team. Because even if they got through that first round and had to play on the road the second round, like, the doubt starts sinking in. Like, even with the fan base, I don't think I'm out of line saying that. The fan base would be like, I believe, but I'm worried. You know what I mean? Would kind of be the vibe, because they're not playing a Canada Life Center. And then I brought this one up too, because, like, just to show you the point differential, like, Vancouver and Winnipeg have the exact same points for, but look at defensively. Because we were talking about how Winnipeg can run scores up on people, but a lot of their offense comes from defense. Like, that is why they're +188. They are a team that, like, as much as offensively they're gifted, and they've got a guy named Teddy Buckets, they do not build their name on offense. Like, they are a defensive team. Mike Rainbow's teams are gritty, and they grind on the defensive end. I call it gritty to pretty. They play gritty at one end, and it creates pretty plays at the other end. And if you've ever watched him coach at the University of Winnipeg in the Canada West Conference, he has made teams that went to nationals with guys that were relative unknowns before they came to Winnipeg. Right? He's a guy that can find the motivation. He can find those diamonds in the rough, and he can build teams that buy into character. Like, he will take chances on guys, that might have a little bit of a decorated past in terms of, like, their reputation in other leagues or their behavioral or emotional, reputations. And he'll give them a fair shot. And more often than not, those guys respond and they play in that team game, but it is very much a team game. And I think that's where he found this really nice balance. You know when to let Teddy go off. Teddy can go off. He's got that green light, which is not, really like what you see a lot in U sports. Like, he had guys, like Sean Moranin's one, who had a green light, but, like, even then he wasn't shooting like Teddy shots. It might be like, okay, I've got my heat and I'm going to go shoot this, like, relatively big, like, long 3, but it's going to be a big basket. Like, Teddy can go off for 54 one game, but he doesn't disrupt the entire system. And that is a delicate balance, Matthew Bonomi. Like, if you are going to let a guy like that, who is not your stereotypical recruit from a university standpoint, learn how to harness those strengths, buffer the weaknesses, and put pieces around him that are willing to play those roles or pick up when he can. So, like, I think that was the most disappointing part of that Calgary loss, is there was really no one that stepped up when Teddy didn't have it. And I thought to myself, like, Teddy kind of has a right to be frustrated if he, 2 games where he doesn't score 20, but he still gives you whatever it was, 17 in one game and whatever it was in the other. I can't remember, 15 or 19, whatever. But no, it wasn't 20. and there was really like no one to step up, right? And in the last broadcast, we talked about that in the post-game show. Isaiah Osborne had 2 points in the whole game. It was the target score winner, right? Like when he absolutely needed it, he got it. But he couldn't hit the side of a barn for a guy who has been playing lights out at Canada Life Center. And, Dave Crook, who will be on Game Day Live tomorrow, brought it up, just like, has to be a frustrating game for him. And my response was, what a time to have a stinker. Like, what a time to go
really
0 for 8 from the field or whatever it was when you've got a teammate scoring 54 points. And a guy like Isaiah Osborne, watch the next game Teddy's off. I guarantee you Isaiah Osborne he's not going to go off for like 30 points, but he's going to give you like 12 to 15 massive points that are going to come in like, at crucial times. They're going to end runs. They're going to start runs for their team. Like that's the kind of team that you have that's tricky to build. And he's pretty much right there. Again, a couple of games where I'm like, no one really stepped up. But they tend to learn from those games. And that is what I keep getting back from these guys, right? Is like when they lose, it's the vibe is don't want to lose, but glad this is happening now. This is what we've learned. We're moving forward. Like there's not a lot of dwelling on this. But hats off to Mike Rainbow. And, we've talked about him earlier in the season. I don't think Taylor and I've talked much about him recently, but the record that he's had and the team that he's built with the distractions that have come in with the Xavier Moon thing that they navigated with so much grace. He deserves a lot of credit because this is so much different from U Sports and, Canada West basketball. There's less practices. You're not recruiting the guys in the same manner that you're recruiting guys for 5 years. You might get them for like 3 games. And then you have to have these hard conversations of like, hey, we're releasing you because we already have too many players or whatever. Right. And I think he's done a wonderful job. And, same to Dave DeViro, but Dave DeViro's done this a few times in the CBL, but DeViro with Calgary, what he's doing is commendable. And here's a guy who won an OUA championship with TMU. He's been around the block at the university level, but these Canadian coaches, man, I'm telling you, coming out of U Sports, there's something in the development way that they're going about business that these professional players are buying into. They want to improve and they believe in these coaches. And there's a ton of credit to not just the head coaches, but the staff and support that they built around them too. It's phenomenal.
I'm trying to find here just to make sure before I say this stat to you. Give me 2 more clicks. So Winnipeg this year has used 16 different players. That is, I believe, the lowest total in the league. So they've had the most consistent roster as well.
Which is crazy because that was like the whole thing last year with Mike Taylor. It was like, we don't want guys going to summer league. We're going to have our team for championship week. And then everybody started leaving. And then it was a revolving door again. And that's what I'll say this. And, for the fans that are watching live, if you don't feel the same, like call me out. But I feel like this year there's been a lot more of that nostalgic feel of 2023. That first team that felt so magical, that felt like they were playing for Winnipeg, that felt like, that it was bigger than the game itself. Like it meant something to be a Sea Bear. That was a team that overachieved. Like that team was not expected to be anything as an expansion. They got into the playoffs. They, people thought they might be able to make a run. They were almost invincible at home, kind of like they are this year. Now you've got some of those familiar faces coming back. The Jelani Watson-Gales, Teddy Allen, Simon Hildebrand, mixed with some of the guys from last year who, were fan favorites and were, contributors like a Trey Scott, even a Kyler Filowich, even though his role's been, pretty small this year. Nate Balamu, like it's just last year there was a lot of, well, like, who is this guy? What happened to this person? Why can't I have that person? And this year you've got guys that are not playing for contracts. They're playing for the city. They're playing for the team. And I think fans are embracing that. Like it feels like their team again. You're starting to feel that magical feel that they had in that first and part of the second year where it kind of felt like it was lost a little bit. But I think the big difference is that consistency. It's almost like, why couldn't they have this last year? Right, when you knew you were going to championship weekend, and it was just it's so different this year. But I don't think anybody on the Sea Bears is complaining at this point. I think these are people that are very happy with the team they have on the paper, and I think this is a team that the organization is looking to go to war with in this. And I'm like, win, lose, or draw, this is my team. Like, we put our best foot forward. I don't think anybody can look at this team and say, like, we were one this short. Like, yeah, maybe if they had another big would be nice, but like they have a very deep guard pool and they could play the most elite small ball in this league and they still have bigs that could compete. So I think this is a really good team and they've got 4 more games to really truly build that chemistry.
My biggest dream this season for the 2026, God, if you're listening, for the 2026 CEBL season is to have the Winnipeg Seabears hosting games 2 and 3 of the final at the Canada Life Center.
Are you going to come out for it if that were the case?
I would, dude, I would run there. I would run.
It's a long run. It's like a 3-day drive out of Ontario alone. So just,
I would dart it. Teddy Allen, one more point on him. He's played 9 games at home this season. He's played 11 on the road, 27 points per game on the road, 32 at home. So he's averaging 5 more points a game at home, which to me, you may sit at home and be like, well, that's not a lot. Well, that's the difference. Look at Calgary and Vancouver last year in that game, 2-point game. Like, to beat those teams, you need every single bucket that you can get, especially in playoffs. I just think the thought of having Teddy Allen, dude, in like an 8,000 person Canada Life Center on like a Saturday night with like all the marbles on the line here and like him just dropping like, I don't know. I think stat guy Tyler said like 55 points. He's calling it as a joke or something in like in one of the games in the playoffs for Teddy. Like something like that.
I don't think he's joking. I think he's legit. Like, that's my take.
That's the thing. Like, I don't even think that's that crazy.
It's not,
and that's something that like
possibilities.
This is the year where I think just you sit back and I'm watching the team and I'm like, something crazy is going to happen with these guys. Like, they're going to get to the final. Teddy's going to have like the craziest 3-game stretch in CEBL history, where drops like 40, 40, 40 or something. And it's just too good of a setup to kind of have it go the other way. But then again, like I said a minute ago, I just love the position Vancouver's in, where it's kind of like they're lurking and like they're not the team this year, and like the pressure's a little off, like similar to the lower seeds in the East compared to Scarborough. But Winnipeg is like, dude, Winnipeg is just so fun to watch. Like, every time I talk to I talk to Joe Rasso a lot, who is my broadcast partner in Brampton, and we always talk about the teams that are built the best, and Winnipeg comes up all the time, where it's like, you know what? It's not about having the best players. It's not about having 5 guys that could score 20 points a game, and one of the 4 of them have off games. One guy drops 40 and then you lose. It's about having 10, 11 solid guys, 12 guys that can contribute at every position. That's exactly what this team has. Like, this may be the deepest team in the league. I mean, Scarborough is pretty darn deep.
Yeah.
But I would say Winnipeg is up there. It's certainly for depth at probably every position, or like most plug and play guys, where it's like, yeah, you want to go 3 guards, 2 bigs, or 3 bigs, 2 guards kind of thing. Like, you can afford to do that. Like Isaiah Osborne, for example, like I could watch that guy anywhere on the floor. Like Teddy
so
can play
sound.
inside.
Like,
Teddy can go to, like, there's no issue there where it's like, yeah, plug and play. Like, you need to be, and not many guys can do that. Like, I look at us in Brampton, like there are like a Matthew Moncrief would be the equivalent, who's having an unbelievable season. He's a double machine, but he's first year in the league. He's like 25 years old. Yeah. He plays like a guard. He plays like a big guy. It's like Trenton Flowers, same thing. And to have those kind of players on your team, especially in a playoff situation, like now the exciting thing is, and this is the thing with the CEBL, every team, like what was the duo you mentioned there a minute ago? The nickname?
Was it Edward? No,
Edward Scissorhands?
Ted Allen? And Zav Trudeau. No, Xavier Moon. Teddy Allen and Xavier Moon. That's it.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Wolverine. There it is.
But every team now has these like crazy duos, where every franchise has guys where I'm like, oh yeah, like in the past, let's say a team was playing, I'd be like, oh, there's nobody on that team I want to watch. Like, there's just nobody that's going to blow my mind on a Tuesday night on CBC Gem or TSN, whatever the heck that TSN streaming thing was on. We were on TSN for a while, Plus. But TSN Plus never worked anyway. No Wi-Fi, no data.
I'm pretty sure the playoffs are going to be on TSN. So
anyway, TSN, good stuff. Always worked. Always great streaming coverage. Big sports, that guy. But I think the thing was, when you would watch these games in the past, it was like, okay, like I don't really care to watch, like, but now every team has these guys. And then every team has guys, and then every team has guys. It's like that Drake thing. Like, I don't have guys. Like I have guys.
Yeah.
It's like Teddy Allen is a guy. Like Teddy Allen has now hit a point where he's a
Teddy Allen's a dude.
superstar. He's a
Yeah.
dude. He's a superstar. It's not like this thing where he's going to go out there and drop 50. Like he's dropping 50 points. Like again, and this is why I think for the sake of the league, for the sake of Winnipeg, who again, like I said, 2026 wish is to have these guys in the finals because the fans and you and everybody that covers this team deserves the best possible outcome, given the fact that everybody has been, for lack of a better term, balls to the wall for the last 3 seasons, and it's just been kind of disappointing when it comes to when push comes to shove, when they actually need to win these games. But this year just feels like it's like Frank Mitchell, get off kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be doing this in the center of Canada Life Center when he scores 50 in the game 3 of the finals and beats Scarborough. Like that
Teddy,
to me is
Teddy
crazy.
saves his talk for the walk-off interview. He's
I
all
think
he
I
does
got
is
my
like
swagger back.
the little 3-pointer every time he gets the 3.
Oh.
Got my swagger back.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
It's just exciting,
unreal.
man.
I just want to point out, sorry, because David is it Ladeau? Sorry if I mispronounced that. Just want to confirm: did McGowan's not play this past Sunday due to the import rules, or was it something else? Import rules. That's going to be the struggle now because with Moon back, they've got they've got 6 imports. You can only dress 5, and they've got a lot of guards. And Jelani Watson-Gale still needs to get his 5 as well. So does Xavier. So Trey McGowan's was the odd man out, and he did have some some knee, I wouldn't say injury. He missed 1 game, but I think it was more precautionary. I think it's just if it gives him time to rest, all the better. He seems like he's all in. This team, like I say, dialed in with their roles. DJ Burns, a guy who's said today, not used to not starting, but I'm loving this role, man. Like there's something special happening here. But yeah, that'll be something to keep an eye on for sure. This is funny from Taylor or that guy Ty. Sorry. Playoffs this year on MTN. He just keeps throwing out different streaming services.
MTN, dude. MTN. Does it work? If it works, I'll use it.
So here's the other thing. We were talking about and because you said Deadpool Wolverine earlier. He said Ty is making fun of Teddy here a little bit. Says Teddy's got the sideburns though, and the facial hair that better fits Wolverine. Yeah, I can totally see that. Then these are all from Stat Guy Ty that I had favorited here. I didn't have time to get to earlier. 10 more points in 63 fewer minutes and 1 fewer game thus far. Playoffs included in 2023 for the Sea Bears. And Winnipeg's largest loss, I had this up earlier, is 8 at Calgary. Every other team has lost by double digits at least once. Stat Guy Ty coming in the clutch again. I hate giving him the shout outs because it goes right to his head. But I got to give credit where credit's due, even if I got to hear about it every now and again. Like this, when he throws out, why can't I have Taylor Allen hosting live instead? He's always there. He's Mr. Accountability, right? He makes sure I'm not too high, but I'm not too low, right? He's like my hype /
manager,
takedown man. Yeah, Stat Guy Ty. And there's the John McTavish. DJ Burns is so much fun to watch, dude. DJ Burns got a second. It's almost like in Mario, right? Like Super Mario, where you get that green mushroom and it gives you like that 1 life, and then you're just like back, and then you get a star and you're just like invincible. That is DJ Burns, man. Like he was averaging less than 4 minutes a game. Trey Scott gets released because of a place in Europe, and everybody's like, oh no, I know Xavier's coming, but we lost our 6th man who was an NBA starter, and DJ Burns is like, cool, got this. Don't even worry about it. And every time he hits the floor, man, the thing that impresses me most about that guy, I won't spend too much time because we got to wrap up here soon. But the thing that impresses me most about DJ Burns is whether he played 1 minute, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, the emotion every time he steps on the floor, he knows his role is to bring the energy. He's like an Energizer bunny, and it's always positive. There's never, I've never seen him in a scenario on the floor that he's not emotional, but it's not in a way that's going to get you in trouble. He gets the crowd into it. The crowd, he's becoming a fan favorite here real quick in Winnipeg for a guy that's, really stepped up. He went from barely averaging any minutes, and one day he had 19 points in 16 minutes, and now he's had double digits ever since Trey Scott has left. He's just been a phenomenal player for this team that's stepped up kind of unexpectedly.
Yeah, he's got double digits in 3 straight, and like you said, he never had double digit points in his prior 8 games. Because I think he's played in 11, but all off the bench too.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, where it's it kind of gives you that Frank Mitchell vibe. Frank Mitchell has come off the bench in 20 games this season, and he will, I think, again, most likely wins sixth man of the year.
He should. My like kind of border for that.
Here we go.
No, is that
I'm listening.
I think he's a starter, and you tell me like he's off the bench 20 times. I'm like, that's your sixth man. Like if a guy's coming off the bench and like you have to be like, oh yeah, like he comes off the bench. Like that was like Jelani Watson-Gale in 2023 when he won it. Like he made so many big shots in target time, but he never started because of the import rule. Like he was the first guy off the bench and he was so good at it. I think I would have said Trey Scott had a real good shot if he was sticking around, but I don't think anybody's had as dominant a roll off the bench as Frank Mitchell has this year in Scarborough. Like, again, we talked a lot about Winnipeg having a well-built team. Scarborough has a well-built team under a persona that everybody's bought into. That is also really scary. Like, I think these are the two top teams no matter what. Like, wherever I'm working, I think Winnipeg and Scarborough are the two top teams right now without a doubt. The targets are on their backs, though. That's the other thing. And again, Scarborough's kind of been cruising a little bit. They've lost some games to teams that are going to meet in the playoffs, which is a little bit concerning. And the Seabears have never won a playoff game. So, before we start throwing the parades and planting the roots, let's just keep in mind that both of these teams have some stuff they got to take care of here before they get too far ahead. And I think it's the fans that are further ahead than the players. That's for sure.
I was waiting for a stat guy Ty to throw in Frank Mitchell, 212 rebounds. It was a new single season record that was set tonight. I'm sure he was on that. On that. I got to keep him in check here. I never met the guy, but I got to keep him in check.
What the heck, man? He's like, I was just about to put that in there.
He's going to come in here with about 6 better stats that I didn't have. But
I think now he's like, oh, you want a stat off? Hey, hey, stat guy.
I got glasses, man. I can go all night. But you're in for a sick one on Saturday. I think it's you, Arash, and Javon, which should be an awesome call. And then and I think that's going to be one of those games like Brampton and Winnipeg, two of the premier rosters, guys that have been around the league for a couple of years. A ton of vets in these games too.
Yeah.
And I would expect, I don't know what the crowd's supposed to be like, but on national television on an afternoon here in the greatest country in the world, I don't know what you would rather be watching. And to me, that's kind of crazy. Like I think you're gonna have a ton of fun on that call. I think that game's gonna be crazy. I think you're gonna get the best Brampton game or the best version of Brampton that you've had all season because you will have that full lineup for the most part. And then you're having Teddy coming off 54. Like, what is Teddy gonna do as the sequel?
I hope so, because last time Brampton was here for a national game, it was quite the snoozer. So I'm hoping
we don't talk about that anymore.
Yeah. Oh, here, Tyler does have an excuse. Yeah, sorry. I was saving that one for Jimmy the Pro. Get out of here, Stat Guy Ty.
Jimmy. We got Jimmy on the
Stat Guy Ty. Jimmy Bricks. Yeah. Anything else you want to add here as we wrap up?
I would say I was funny because there was a guy, a buddy of mine who I used to work with at TSN who now lives in Winnipeg. And he was asking me about this game on Saturday. And he said, oh, like a bunch of my buddies and I are going, what should we expect? And I'm like, man, the reach in Winnipeg to me is so awesome. Like I wish it was like that in every franchise in the league. And it's getting there. It's slowly getting there. But it's just awesome to see how faithful and dedicated the fans are to that team. Like, I mean, if you have Jimmy Slattery walking around the city of Winnipeg signing autographs every now and then, I mean, something's wrong. And you're eating at Earl's every day and you're getting noticed, something's also wrong. But but it's just awesome. I think it's a huge shout out. And again, I think one of the things that Winnipeg following and fans should know on the Target Score pod is that everybody knows about them, and everybody is super envious of the setup they have, and also very much applauds their effort in cheering for the team. So it's a very hard hat, work boots kind of feel that I wish a lot more teams had in terms of fan base and everything. But it's very admirable. I love going on Twitter and Instagram at night and seeing all these highlights and their fans going nuts. And I mean, not in-game hosts or anything getting kicked out, but to the extreme where there are 6,000 people in the arena every night, and it's awesome. So I think you're gonna have a blast on Saturday. I think you're gonna get a crazy good game. I'm gonna say prediction is Winnipeg just kidding. Brampton wins by 3. That's my prediction in an upset fashion. Brampton by 3.
I think Winnipeg is. It's tough because they have that game in the middle. I think Winnipeg's going to win that one. I just feel like national TV. This will be Xavier Moon's first game on national TV since he's returned. I think Winnipeg is going to win this. But what does scare me is, or would, I shouldn't say scare, would scare me, like if I'm on the Sea Bears, is the fact that Brampton has that desperation. And there have been times this year where they don't meet that desperation of their opponents. So that would be an area where I'm like, like, I don't want to they're going to win by 20, because I think a lot of people are thinking that, but I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to say it'll be decided within 3 possessions. And I think it'll be Winnipeg that wins. But if not, I could totally see Brampton, because if they win that game, that's one game that could really change the trajectory of this last part of the season and build a ton of confidence when you absolutely need it. So a lot on the line there too. I want to shout out to everybody that's been on the Instagram chat. It doesn't work the same, so I always forget to go check. There's been a few comments. I'm just going to bring up one because I thought it was funny. Shot by Gerp. If you're still there, he says, is Tajay Moore going to be on this pod? Not this particular one, because this is Target Score Winnipeg, but hey, you never know. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Have your notifications on, because if that Vancouver episode comes on and Tajay Moore's there, you're going to want to see it. But no, I appreciate everybody there. Matt, thank you so much for coming on. This has been awesome to do this crossover. We haven't had a chance to do it yet. Tomorrow's game, or whatever, Thursday's game, 7 o'clock start. It's a normal one. The CBC game will be on Sunday. So we'll see you guys then, and I'll be on the call for that. Matt, have a go, man.
Wait. And if Brampton wins...
Okay, hold on. Now we got to redo the whole music.
Kill the music. 2 seconds. If Winnipeg wins, I will personally DoorDash you whatever food you would like. That will be the deal. You don't need to give me anything if Brampton wins, because we know it's going to happen. But if Winnipeg beats Brampton, I will personally DoorDash you a meal all the way from Southern Ontario right to your door. That's the deal. Put that on record.
Okay.
And D's going to pay for it.
Because I have to do play-by-play, Matthew, and I have to be unbiased. So I cannot be putting bets on a game I'm about to call. do you not read our protocols, Matthew?
I don't read any.
Man. He's like, hey, let's just put it out here. All right, Joey, let's put it all on the line here. Let's shake up a little controversy in Brampton.
Here I am trying to extend the olive branch. Pull a branch out of the back room here, right over to Winnipeg. Let you guys have one, but off the record, we'll talk about this, Joey. I got something for you.
Look at this roller coaster of emotions for Stat Guy Ty. Matt Bonomi, and I was going to say this, you pandered really well to the Winnipeg crowd. Matt Bonomi moving up the list of Target Score personalities, followed by, okay, now he gets the 7th tee of the night, and now he's got 8. So here we go. Oh, come on, Chris Wiggins. What?
Chris, you should be sleeping now, man. You should be sleeping. It's 8:42 on the West Coast.
Between you and D right now, everybody's coming in, chirping on the comments.
Chris has got his legs on top of D's and that sweet pant thing, whatever it is. I got to get out of here. This is too late for me now. I start saying that thing.
Sorry, just so you don't feel too I should have done this off the top, but just so you feel more at home. It's like talking to D now. Oh, I was hoping it went lower. All right,
I'm going to cut this later. Thanks, Joey. Appreciate you.
There's no cut. This is going as is. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Game tomorrow, 7 o'clock, 2:30 start on CBC on Sunday. Appreciate you all coming along. Thanks, everybody in the comments. If you're watching a replay, thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.